Alright, here is a 52-inch antique brass Moss Tropical Breeze spinner ceiling fan. Some 4 blades. As you can see, it's a top-mounted spinner. Walnut finish blades on both sides, I believe. There's the top of it. And this ceiling fan is another Moss Tropical Breeze spinner, not the same one that I bought off of Dan Newman last summer. That Moss Tropical Breeze spinner is right here. Still working on this fan. The Moss Tropical Breeze spinner over here, this one I actually acquired from one of my parents' friends. Quick backstory, this ceiling fan actually was not turned on for a very long time. What happened was, like 11, 12 something years ago, what happened was the fan chain broke. Not all the way up to the socket, but there was a string attached to it because it was like really high off of the ground. It was installed in like the stairway loft area, and the ceiling was really high up, and it was on the down rod it's on right now, so it was like 15 feet off of the ground, and I guess they pulled it a little too hard or something. The bottom line, the string snapped, and the chain wasn't broken all the way, but it was way too high up for them to reach, and they never bothered to fix it. So this fan didn't get turned on for like literally 10 years, maybe 11, I don't know. So it just sat up there building dust, spider webs, bugs got to it. It really got disgusting. So eventually they decided to replace it. So they take this one down, they put the new one up, and they decide to give the new one to me. Now let me just say that I've admired this fan with a passion ever since I was a little kid. Like, going to their house was my favorite. Seeing this fan was my favorite part of going to their house, just to get to see this cool looking fan again. Because I had never seen a top mounted spinner before, and this was in my early days as a fan lover, so just seeing a fan this unique looking really intrigued me. And I always wanted to see it running, but like I mentioned earlier, I never got to because, you know, the fan chain was broken all the way up to the tippy top. So, fast forward to now, I have acquired this fan from them, and it was filthy dirty, filthy dirty. I actually told them to leave it filthy because honestly, for me, cleaning up and restoring the fan is part of the fun of getting an old fan like this. So it had like a layer of dust about 1 centimeter thick on the top of the blades and the top of the motor. The brackets and the lower canopy had quite a bit of rust on them. It wasn't too bad, but just a little bit of rust. Also, the light kit was pretty messed up as well. The light socket had like burned or something because the black and white wires attached to it, well, the white wire looked like it had been burned on the end. It was completely broken off of the socket, and the black wire was just more or less attached to the socket, but by only a few tiny strands of wire. So, really quickly over here, I'll show you, this is the chain for the light. And right here we got the 2 black wires. One of them would go to the socket, and one of them would go to the black wire in the switch housing. So I need to get a new socket for this fan. I don't know how that happened. Maybe they put a bulb in there that was too high of a wattage or something. I don't know. So yeah, I need to get a new socket for this fan. So I just decided to disassemble the whole light until I get a new socket. But I left the fitter on here to serve as a switch cap. So I cleaned up the fan. I had to use a scrubby sponge on the blades because they were filthy. I used some steel wool on the brackets and canopy to get the rust off. As you can see up there's the lower canopy. I also had to use a Q-tip to get into the nooks and crannies of the fan because there were dead bugs in that little spot in between the motor and the switch housing right there. I also noticed some tiny dead bugs in the switch housing. I just kind of dug around in there with a Q-tip because I didn't want to mess up the wiring in the switch housing. I mean, it was already a handful enough to clean this thing, but if I had to rewire it in any way, shape, or form, I think I'd just lose my mind. Anyway, so this fan I did get 100% complete, except for the pin to stick the down rod through the rubber gaskets in the mounting bracket, but I was able to use a makeshift pin out of a screw and a nut by sticking it through there and then screwing the nut on the other side. Works pretty well. Also, one of the screws to hold the canopies was missing. I just was easily able to find a replacement to that as well. Also, the reversing switch is backwards. It's pointing up, yet the fan spins counterclockwise, aka downdraft mode, and it's the same way, vice versa. So, yeah, I think I've said just about everything there is to say about this fan. So I guess I'll demonstrate it for you now. There's low. And the bearings on this fan are pretty bad as well. I mean, they're not too bad. I'd say they're like mildly bad. I put oil in this, put quite a bit of oil in this fan, and they've gotten a little better, but not really that much. I'll show you it once we get to like high speed. But they're not that bad. They're tolerable, I'd say. There's medium. The bearings are starting to kick in. So yeah, they're not that bad. I may have exaggerated a little there at the beginning. They're not that bad. Not sure if you can, the camera can hear them though. This thing's already blowing a pretty fair amount of air. Also, it's got a bit of a mean wobble to it. The wobble's, it's like the bearings, it's kind of fair, I'd say. Mainly because the mounting bracket on these spinners and industrial fans is really narrow, and it's hard for them to reach the sides of the junction box. So I had to put these little rubber things to extend the length of the, you know, mounting bracket, and one of them was kind of stuck in there, so I think I was able to get it somewhat well. I mean, it's still got a bit of a wobble, but it's in there pretty good. All right, now for high. Yeah, it's starting to shake quite a bit, as you can see. And I'll turn it off. And there you go. This is my 52-inch Moss Tropical Breeze spinner. Well, it's actually my second one, because I do have that other one over there that I showed you at the beginning of the video. But anyway, this is one of my 52-inch Moss Tropical Breeze spinner ceiling fans. It is more or less completely refurbished at this point, except for the light kit. I just need to get a new socket and I'll fix the light kit. I'll probably make an update video on this fan once I fix the light kit, and I can show you it with the light. But for the time being, that is all there is with this fan. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching. The Russian Fazbear, out.